Someone needs urgent medical help and an ambulance has been called to this busy London street. But the staff on board today, not paramedics, but military personnel. Once again, soldiers are helping the health service as ambulance workers join picket lines. Walking out, they insist, for their patients as much as their pay.
People are still dying tomorrow, the day before, they're still dying because we haven't got the staff and the resources to meet those needs.
I've had people in the back of the ambulances that haven't been breathing, and I've had to take them or blew them into hospital, as we say, and I've arrived in the emergency department into resus, and there are no beds available. There are no beds available for someone who's actively not breathing.
This is sort of our final option, really.
But it does mean patients' lives are at risk.
They were at risk anyway. They were always at risk.
Ambulances stuck for hours outside hospitals has become a common sight. Today, the queues are back at base instead.
Crews everywhere are responding to life-threatening Category 1 emergencies. But cover for Category 2 calls, which could be anything from a heart attack to the late stages of labour, has been negotiated at a local level and will vary region by region.
Ministers have condemned that decision not to agree national minimum safety levels. And today the Health Secretary continued to insist only pay from this April onwards is up for discussion.
Nothing's off the table, but our focus is on this coming year, and that was the purpose of the meeting I had with the trade unions. On Monday, I was pleased that they themselves recognised that it was constructive. The head of the NHS Staff Council, Sarah Gordon, said that progress had been made.
But her position today is that a backdated pay award must be on the table as well.
The Secretary of State understands that in order to resolve this dispute, it is going to take not just talking about the pay for the future, but actually doing what he called reaching back into the current pay year to make an improved offer. So let's hope.
The Health Secretary says he'll consult the Chancellor before resuming talks with the unions. But already there's another ambulance strike and a two-day nurses' strike in the calendar. Catherine Jones, 5 News.
Oh, let's bring in both Tess in Westminster and Catherine here in the studio with us to talk more about this.
Catherine, what about the impact of today's strike by the ambulance workers? How bad has it been?
I think difficult to tell completely, but 2 things that make me worry that this has been an intensification of this. The first is that the call handlers walked out for the first time, and although they did that in shifts of 6 hours staggered across the day, there will be inevitable consequences of that. The second thing is that the NHS is in a really precarious state now. I would say worse than December the 21st when the ambulance workers went out, because then at least hospitals are kind of winding down for Christmas and there's not much else going on.
Different parts of the country have been affected in different ways by the action today as well, haven't they?
That's right. I mean, as I mentioned in my report, Category 1, or in Wales, red calls, were dealt with at a national minimum standard level, but Category 2, the next level down, not so. I've been digging into that all day to understand what that really means. So, for example, for the East Midlands Ambulance Trust, they gave us the most detail. It meant paramedics would attend the most serious Category 2 calls: chest pain, strokes, childbirth emergencies where a mother and baby are at risk, road traffic accidents where a patient is trapped, and unwell children under 5 and under, for example. The North East was also using clinicians to decide the seriousness of cases of Category 2. The West Midlands was also transporting vulnerable people like those with cancer and dialysis. So it has varied across the country. London, they scrapped the category system altogether and used a life and limb policy instead, which could have covered all kinds of emergencies.
So quite a patchwork. Thanks very much, Catherine.